Hello friends, my name is Lorraine. Welcome to Lolly D Creations. Please enjoy the video. Here I'm taking a piece of plywood that I found at Home Depot in the scrap section. I'm going to cut it into two pieces in order to make two signs out of it. We're going to be exploring both signs. First of all, we're going to clean it off. We're going to try to make sure that there's no dust around. We want to work with a very smooth surface because we are going to be using some of the Dollartree decals. Here I am frantically looking for my sanding block. Unfortunately, I usually have it right next to me, but today I didn't. I finally found it, and we are going to make sure that both of these pieces are smooth to be able to have the best surface to stick our decals onto. Once I'm done with all the sanding, I'm going to make sure that our surface is dust free, so we are using my little vacuum once again to make sure we have no little pieces that can mess up the sticky surface of our decals we'll be using. Also, I'm going to paint this. Although I love the grain and the wood is beautiful, for the decal's sake I want a brighter surface. So we are going to go around and paint these using some white chalk paint that I made using some regular acrylic white paint and some, I can't remember the name of it, something with Paris. Here I paint. I try to use some of the spray bottle because it helps the paint glide through the surface a lot better, and it gives you a smoother finish, especially since this paint is so thick. I only gave these pieces of board one coat. It was enough to cover it, and I also wanted to have some of that grain come out through the paint because it's really hot, gives a piece a little bit more character. And I love the grain, so that's the way of having the best of both worlds there. While painting, I was getting little pieces of hardened paint fall onto my project, so you will see me scraping them off here and there in between and trying to get the best and smoothest surface we can achieve. Here we're going to be doing the second board. This one I wanted the white paint to be a little bit lighter in order for the piece to be a little bit more rustic. So I'm using a little bit less paint, and I am diluting the paint a lot more with some spritz of water here and there. And you should be able to see the paint and the grain come a little bit through. So it should be just one coat of diluted paint for this purpose. On this side, I make sure that my brush was very wet, therefore I didn't have to spritz this side as much. And here are the two pieces finished and dry. This will be the decals I'll be using for each board. I went with the code that says, each day I write the story of my life for the wider and thicker painted piece of wood. Once again, making sure everything is nice and dust free and free of bumps. We are going to try to figure out our best placement for this decal, and I found it easier to start from the bottom, stick in one part so I can have more control, and roll the backing off in order to have this smoother, better way and more control over the sticker and where it goes on my piece of wood. So we roll, 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 and flatten, roll and flatten until we are done. So here we make sure everything is properly stuck on, and now we are going to seal everything using Mod Podge. I wanted to make sure we had an even coverage, so I just poured my Mod Podge right onto the project and just spread it around with my paintbrush. Make sure that the surface is completely covered and is covered evenly in order to get the best result and make the decal not so much look like a decal, but more like a part of the wood. And it just makes it all complete. So I did the Mod Podge in the entire piece, because the Mod Podge, even though it says that it's matte, it still shows a little bit of glaze or a shine on the surface. So I'm going to make sure that there was all the area there was covered evenly with the same kind of finish. Here it is all complete, and we are going to put it to the side so we can start working on a second piece while this piece dries. Here I had a little bit of a issue, but we're gonna get to that. First, I'm trying to figure out where exactly I want to put the decal. I want to make sure that it's centered in all sides and I have the same amount of space in the beginning and the end, and also want to make sure that everything is straight. I had a bit of a hard time trying to get the decal off, but finally we got it. That little part in the top there where the tag goes for the item was bothering me. It was giving me a hard time in understanding where middle was, so I just cut it off. So it was only working with the word. So once I knew exactly where I wanted it, went ahead and peeled off the tag there, the decal, and placed it in the surface where I thought I want to get one corner, just like I did with the previous one, and roll and tack down, smooth down, and make sure everything is straight. And we are trying there to make sure the letters are not tilted or going in any specific way, and we are rolling and flattening as we take off the backing, just like we did before. Then we go over the entire area. We make sure that everything was done properly, but it was not straight. So I needed to lift up the decal all over again. I tried different ways. With nails, guys, it's a little bit difficult to do some things with crafting. I don't know how some of you do it, but kudos to you. I just got these nails done today, and it was difficult to get these things done as smooth as I usually do them. But we managed. We smoothen, making sure there's a little place there where the decal got a little bent, so I used my nail as a little scraper to get that down as far as I could, as best as I could. But I still wasn't happy. We kept taking it off and trying to place the decal straight. For some reason it was going in a different direction. It was going downwards, and I could see it, and it was driving me crazy. So I had to take care of it. I had to fix it. So finally I got it the way I wanted it, and here we are again. And this decals, guys, this sticky part, it is so good. It didn't give me a hard time sticking down, even though I took it off like 3 times. So now it's time to seal everything up with Mod Podge. We put a whole bunch of Mod Podge in there because I was like, I probably damaged the sticky part of that decal, and maybe with time it will come down. So I wanted to make sure that it was properly sealed in, so I just put a little extra of the Mod Podge on there to make sure a thick coat was on there, to make sure that this stayed down the entire time I use it. I want this to be something that will last forever, whether if it stays in my house or it goes to a different home. I like to do things that are durable. So we Mod Podge away this piece, but at the same time made sure that this area was very smooth. I also like the streaks that I left because it just gave this piece a little bit more of a rustic feel. With the front, back, sides, everything. Friends, I hate to wait for things to dry. So here I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do, what can I do in the meantime. So I'm going to take care of my hangers. So I use these hangers from this beaded garland from the Dollartree. I got these last year, and I'm going to get them ready to have them stained. I want them to match the letters on that family sign. First go over and make sure that side is correct. I had a hard time doing these with these nails. I need to get used to the longer nails right now, guys, but I did the best I could with what I had. So I tried with my fingers, I was determined, but eventually I said, you know, there has to be an easier way. So I got my pick from my Cricut, and that had the perfect hook to get me to undo that knot on that garland. Now I have enough area to put them in together, and I want to get ahead and stain them with some of my antique wax. So I am doing the knot so none of the little beads go away while I'm trying to stain them. So I'm using here my antique by Waverly and a little chippy brush from the Dollartree, and here we go. I started with the undiluted wax first, but then I was like, okay, it's taking a little bit longer to glide through the beads, so I just applied a little bit of water on the cover there, and that just made things a lot quicker and a lot easier, and it gave me more of that color that I wanted that matches the lettering on the decal that I put on the wood piece. Guys, I love doing this part. It's like, I love the transformation and the character of these sweet beads. They look rustic, they look great, I love them. Now it's time to prepare the wood to put a hanger on it. So I use this hanger kit from the Dollartree. I'm going to use the little eye hooks out of there so I can tie my stuff. But guys, I'm going to tell you, I had a hard time with that first piece there that I had to put the round onto. Between the nails and how solid that wood was, it took me forever to put that piece on there. You guys probably can see it on, like, tried every different position, all different kinds of things, until I said, okay, you know what, I'm gonna need a little bit of help. So I picked up my pliers, and that kind of helped me start the hole. I could not find a drill bit that was small enough to help me pre-hole some holes on that area, but you know, where there's a will, there's a way. So I got it done. I finally got the thing on there, and here I am doing the second one. I learned from my mistakes on the first one, and here this going a lot quicker than I did before, because now I'm like, I am not using the nails, I'm not using my force, I am using the help of the pliers. So here we are, we're making sure everything is nice and even, and that that little hook is in there and is staying in for longevity. Here we are done, and it's time to get that beaded garland that had time to dry while I was fighting with those hooks, all tied up and applied, so we can get our hanger on our piece, and we will be almost done. I made sure that I did 2 knots on each side, and just check to make sure that that's the height that I wanted for my hanger. I didn't want it too close to the wood. I wanted it to be also a piece that showcased my sign as well with the beads. I cut the excess there. Once I got everything tightened, I wanted everything to be close by, didn't want the twine to be showing, so I make sure that that was a very thick thing there. Now I'm using some jute cord from Dollartree. Here's the Dollartree. I just like to use the little baby snack bottles to help the twine to stay in place while I'm trying to work with it. That just gives me a little more control over my jute cord. So I am trying to figure out exactly if I wanted a pattern. Then I'm like, crisscross looks good. So I went with the crisscross pattern that you see there. It's using 3 revolutions of the jute cord to achieve that. So it's like an X and then another piece going in between it. Once I had it how I wanted it in the front, I went ahead and flipped the piece on its back and tied it tightly. Again, it was very challenging with the nails, but I'm hoping, like my daughter told me, I will eventually get used to the length. But yes, I got the knot down there. You can see keep trying to fight with it and trying to hold it while tying. It's a little bit difficult, so I did the best I could and I got it done, because where there is a will, there's always a way. And I went ahead and cut off the excess, and we are done with that side. Let's see if we are happy. Then we are going to make sure that the spacing is correct and keep adjusting until we are completely happy with the result we have. That's why I didn't want to use any glue or anything, because I want to make sure that everything was right and customizable. And this is what I was going for, and I achieved it. I was happy about that. So it's time to go ahead and repeat on the other side. For some reason, I like things to be even and cohesive and balanced. I don't know if it's a Gemini thing, but yes, I gotta do the same thing on the other side, because otherwise it's just going to be driving me crazy. Here, I was trying to figure out what will be the best way to start. I started here with the back, and I wanted the tails to be in the back, so I'm like, okay, how do I do this? Hold on. No, wait, I think I'm going the wrong way. Nope, that doesn't seem like right. So then I readjusted and toward a little bit, and I'm like, nope, the other way. And here we go, crisscross. Applesauce, like my daughter will say. And we got the same result as over there in the other side. And it's time to go ahead and tie the knot once again. Remember to tie it nice and tight in order to be able for the pieces to stay put better without having to use any glue. Because if you're anything like I am, you like to change the decor pretty often, and you might not like the jute going later on, and you might want to add something different or different color, and it's much easier to just cut it off and start over than to try to get rid of a whole bunch of glue. Here I am again, once again, tying patiently as best as I could while holding that twine in place in order to make sure that that stayed on there tight. I'm trying to tie my nail in, and then whoop, there we go, we take it off and we are done. Let's cut off the excess, or let's look at it first. And we are done with the twine, so we're gonna put it to the side, and I want to show you guys my masterpiece. Ta-da! I love it. I love the rusticness. I like how the green and the brown looks against the white. It's very cute. Here goes with the second piece. It's been dry now, and we are going to add some flowers to this one. I went with this kind of flowers from the Dollartree. I got these on springtime. I find them to be so vibrant and cute. I like the different colors, the pink, the orange, the yellow. It's just, I like the dimension that it shows to the piece as well, and it gives it a pop of color. And I'm going to use just one flower and one of the leaves. I just want to keep it simple. My thing is to keep it right there in the middle, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to just use that one piece of greenery, or if I wanted to take off some more and put some more greening around. Then I'm like, no, let me just keep it simple with just the two little leaves showing on each side and the flower in the middle. In order to keep this flat and be able to stick it properly onto the wood, I cut off the little protruding things that were in the end that you use to put into the flower stems. And in order for this to lay flatter onto the board and achieve the look that I wanted. Here's where the glue gun comes out. We are going to attach the piece of greenery to the flower so it stays exactly how I wanted it to stay, and it turns out to be one piece. And then we are going to go ahead and glue the flower to where you wanted it to go, right in the top of the wood sign right there. Yeah, I'm a little bit out of frame, but here we go, guys. We're gonna be just gluing it quickly onto there. And then once we glue that on, now we're gonna create a hanger for this piece. I tried black and white, I didn't like it, so then this is my second choice. And this was a black garland that I got from Walmart on clearance during Christmas time. Here I went ahead and took some beads off the garland, and I'm going to thread it onto some jute cord in order to create a hanger for the size that I prefer to have. I'm threading, and in the middle of me doing this threading, I lost one of the beads. And of course, Miss Chloe was nearby, and she thought it was the best little toy she can have, and started playing with it. So finally, it got closer to me on the other side, making sure I didn't want her to swallow it. So here I am trying to rescue her from the bead and getting the bead back to the back of my hanger. There she is looking for it. I guess she didn't figure out that I got it. Once I was done threading all my pieces, I went ahead and cut a piece of twine that was long enough for me to be able to tie the hanger onto my sign. So here we go again with our hanging kit from Dollartree. We are using the eye hooks as well for these. And here we go with the pliers. Guys, these pliers look so rusty with this pliers. So with us, since we got our house, this house that we are now, we got pretty much with everything in it, including the tools that were downstairs in the basement. So this is my pliers that were from the previous owners and are coming in handy once again, and it's one of my favorite tools to use, especially when I'm working with small things like these eye hooks. So I'm using it to make sure that I drive them in straight and further into the wood, and then once I feel that I have the strength to be able to screw the rest, I did that. Here we are hanging up the hangers for the wood sign. I'm trying to tie it as close to the beads as possible. I do not like to leave any of that space that shows the jute cord. So it's easier to do it with the first side, but then with the second side, you just gotta make sure that all your beads are taut, and then go ahead and do your at least 2 knots. Once I was done, I cut the ends off and I sealed it in with some hot glue to make sure that that knot did not get unraveled. And we are attaching our flower, and we are done with this sign. I love this sign. I love how vibrant the color and that flower it is. It gives me a pop of color. And here are the finished products. Here is the first one we took care of. I love this one. It's so rustic, and I like how neutral the colors are. It could be used for farmhouse. It could be used for boho. It could be used for rustic. It's very versatile. And here's this one. I love the quote, "Each day I write the story of my life." So every day we have the opportunity of deciding what our life is like. It's with small little decisions. So I love that saying. Thank you for watching, guys. This is the end of my video. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know which one was your favorite, and if you have any suggestions of other techniques I can use as well. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.